Hello, welcome back to video 4 of the Europa Universalis segment of my Paradox Interactive Historical Playthrough Mega Series playing Russia. My Russia Mega Series. I'm Admiral Jedi. We're going to pick up right where we left off from video 3, Time of Troubles. This is video 4, Ashes to Empire, as we rise from the ashes of the Time of Troubles, playing as Tsar Mikhail Romanov, the first Romanov emperor, first Romanov Tsar of many. Let's go ahead, and I didn't realize we're not married. We need to do that right away. With Norway, sure, that's fine. So maybe we'll have a kid here soon. What we're going to start off with is the Cossacks. Let's talk about the Cossacks. So, the Cossacks, Russia had an odd kind of love-hate relationship with the Cossacks. The Cossacks provided them with much-needed military strength to push back their enemies and conquer their foes. But they were also very difficult to control. Cossacks were usually more on the... It's sort of interesting because here's Moscow right here. But these areas were considered like the frontier, these southern areas here. But you can see Russia kind of goes way down here. So I consider these the frontiers. But anyway, back then they considered these areas the frontiers. And Cossacks sort of guarded the south against attacks which would normally have come in from Crimea. They've been completely wiped out. That's not historically accurate. And also Cossacks were all along this area sort of protecting Russia's weak side. When they were employed during the Time of Troubles, however, the Russian officials quickly came to a place where they couldn't really afford to pay them. And so that what they would do is they would give them land, but then it would be like, well, work your own land. And also, by the way, you need to pay us your taxes and everything. And so Cossacks got kind of pinched. They were stuck between the proverbial rock and a hard place. And eventually, rather than starve to death, they began pillaging the land. And that, as we saw towards the end of video 3, is one of the things that led to the final unification of Russia. And they were really, it's funny, fighting against Cossacks, with Cossacks. So what we're going to do, and I can't do it right now, is I'm going to try and revoke all the privileges of the Cossacks. That's going to be the next thing that I do. Representing the fact that really with the war won, Russia did really turn on the Cossacks. So it's like, okay, you helped us win the war, but we didn't forget you were plundering, and we also think you're a bunch of backwoods savages. I'm not saying they are, I'm just saying Moscow's main citizenry didn't have a high opinion of them. And so we're going to reduce their privileges, which is going to also play a part in trying to drive up our dismal modernization. That's going to be one of the focuses that we have. Now, a second piece that I'll point out, and I'm going to keep doing this, is I've pushed Siberia really, really, really far, which is pretty historically accurate. We're about to hit the Pacific. I think that's coming a little bit too soon, historically speaking, but I've mentioned this before. I have learned that it's really difficult to keep the historically accurate timeline. Already the Time of Trouble should have not ended until 1612, so we're already past it. And the reason why I say it's difficult to keep that timeline is because the AI will take it from you. And so I'd rather be historically accurate about the events that occurred and even try to come close to the order that they occurred, if not the precise time that they occurred. So this level of Siberian occupation, we'll talk about Siberia a little bit more later in the video, I think, I'm very happy with it. It's progressing nicely. So I'm going to be waging some wars as well, but I will bring you back in there. I need to do a little bit of cleanup, and let's come back for the first war that we're going to wage. So what I'm going to do before Peter gets here is not Mikhail, but rather Mikhail's actual son, Alexei, also known as Alexei Mikhailovich. By the way, if you've ever heard of that Ovich, it means son of. And so Mikhail's son would be Mikhailovich, right? Alexei Mikhailovich. And Peter would have been Peter Alexeyevich. So anyway, I'll let you keep practicing that on your own. You're welcome. So one of the things that Alexei did is wage war against Poland. Again, this whole thing should be the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It just didn't work out. They didn't get the junior partnership, or when they had it, it was too early or something like that. Oh, and also Bohemia is sitting on, there's some land, what is it? Well, you know what? I didn't read books about, oh, there it is, Krakow. Well, is that Krakow? Well, yeah, it's Krakow, right? But here it's Krakow. Anyway, without that, they can't form the Commonwealth. So, Alexei Mikhailovich would have taken... It's really kind of interesting the way that they call this. They call it right side Dnieper... No, left side Dnieper. So this is the Dnieper River here. Empties out into the Black Sea. Right? Woo, see it? Okay, let's get closer. Woo, that's the Dnieper. And... these areas are what is known as left side, which to me, playing the game, doesn't make any sense. It's the right side, clearly. But here's the thing. This river flowed downwards to the south, down, so if you were riding it down current in a boat, these areas would have been on your left side. Oh, man, I taught you about Oviches, I taught you about left side versus right side Dnieper. I mean, I might as well be a college professor. I'm just kidding. So, Alexei Mikhailovich, who would be this guy here, Mikhail's son, who in this case is Pavel, but whatever, ended up, by way of war, and I think more than just war, but also he paid a huge indemnity to Poland, a huge amount of money, was able to keep claims on the left side Dnieper, and this kind of pumps me up because this is where this whole thing began with Crusader Kings, they did recover Kiev. So I'm going to go to war to take this right now, because otherwise Peter's going to swap in soon. It's going to happen. And let's see. Oh, who's going to come... You know, what drives me crazy is this stupid Portugal nonsense. Portugal's like, we're the defender of the Catholic faith. We're gonna... Okay, well, they're twice my size here, but that hasn't really mattered in the past. Portugal doesn't do anything. They just sit over there on the other side of the planet. And, who are they attacking? I don't even know who this is. Okay. So, we'll see how this goes. I can probably pull it off. And I'll just keep recruiting more troops as I get more money. And we will try to, yeah, beat them. Now, I guess I could have Sweden and Norway join in. That'd be kind of nice. But then what'll happen is the exciting part is they'll go up there and just kill all of Sweden and Norway, and then give me a negative war score the entire time, especially because Portugal's got a lot of ships. All right, whatever. Let's just make it happen. And you know what? I always like to. I just like to make a little save game here. Got my war save game. You'll even see it say, "Want to over?" Oh, maybe not. I thought it would say, "Want to overwrite it?" All right, so we're gonna declare war, and as a goal, we'll set Kiev, and then we'll bring in these guys and do it. So hopefully this war goes well. It's 1600 now. I'll bring you back in when it's over. And you know what would be nice is Genoa's in here. It'd be nice to take them out and kick them out, and then release this area back to Crimea for super historical accuracy's sake, even though they were my enemy. But I may go ahead and do that anyway. Okay, that first war has ended, and we got all of our objectives. My quote-unquote allies sort of got wailed on. You heard me whining about that earlier, which is fine. They're not really my allies anyway, just worked out that way. So this is good. One of the other things that's happened is I have taken this area here, but I really don't want to hold it. This Crimean area. I want to release it, and I kind of forget how to do that. Okay, create a subject from some of your provinces. There we go. Isn't there Crimea? No, all these. There we go. They'll receive 14 provinces. It's a bit more than I expected. Okay. What is this? Cherson? I don't want to give him too much. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's do a quick save. We'll call it Crimea. And let's see what it looks like when it's done, if they get too much. Okay. Yeah, that's way too much. Well, or is it? Remember what I was talking about earlier in the video? Like, this is the frontier, so to speak. Okay, did they get Astrakhan? No, they didn't. You know what? I kind of like this. Crimea went down too soon, and they got a lot more. I was hoping to just give them these areas here. They got a lot more than I expected them to. And I can always go in, I think, and once my truce is up with them, I think I can go in and like request provinces from them. Yeah, seize land. Oh, I might even be able to do it now. Yeah. And see it increase their... And one of the things is Crimea was constantly attacking Russia during this time. So I think this is kind of interesting. Alright, which one do I want? Let's just... does this make a state? Yeah. Let's take that one back. It's like, oops. Sorry. Yeah, subjects. Crimea. What are they? Where's their liberty desire? I don't care. If they had... I don't want them. I don't even want them as a vassal, because they weren't. That's not historically accurate. Okay, so I will take... What was this thing called? Oh, I can just click it. Okay, like, boop, there we go. Alright, and so I'll just take some territories back from them over time and see how it goes. But in the meantime, we've done good. We have left side Dnieper back. We have Kiev back. That's historically accurate. And Peter the Great is going to take his place here soon when my ruler dies. Not sure when that is. 26. So he had his son when he was, what, 9? You know, it happens. And I really do need to figure out how to do this modernization. It just seems like a nightmare. But that's for me to figure out, and you to not need to have to figure out. Let's keep going. An event has popped up, which I think is a good place to talk about an important issue, which is the westernization of Russia. What does that have to do with the Great Uprising? Well, that's a very good question. I'm really glad you asked. So, you may have seen in previous videos that we've been serfing the heck out of our peasants, making them serfs and keeping their serfdom in place. Legalized serfdom is here, which basically means that a peasant was bound to the land. And there were laws where they couldn't even move. There were some laws where they could move around only at certain times of year, and they had to pay their lord to move away. But when they were, you know, enserfed and couldn't move, they were obligated to work. So that's really kind of serfdom, and we've all heard about that, at least as Americans, you know, watching our Robin Hood kind of movies and that sort of thing. So, the peasants get mad here and rise up. Now, what I need to make sure... Okay, 30 peasants rise up in Rostov. Let me just make sure that they don't rise up, like, straight on top of me. That would suck. So we'll go ahead and stop this. I'm going to go ahead and accept this. Okay, calm down. Everybody calm down. And the reason why I wanted to talk about westernization is because even though we don't have Peter the Great yet, Peter the Great really worked on a lot of westernization of Russia. And we have some missions here: modernizing the state, westernize the court. We're going to try and pull those off as best as we can. Could have sworn I did this Streltsy one already. Guess not. It's interesting to know that there's an interesting kind of exchange of opinion between Russia and the West. Russia felt the West was completely backwards and barbarians, and the West felt that Russia was completely backwards and barbarians. Russia felt that they had the only true religion, which was Russian Orthodox, technically. There it is. And the West believed that theirs was the only true... Well, that's not probably... Well, okay. Catholic, where are the Catholics at? Well, I know France is, right? Reformed! Heresy! Literal heresy! Okay, well, anyway. And yet, for Russia, they really depended on the West to import technology, shipbuilding. So they had a kind of simultaneous inferiority complex and superiority complex. We know we're better than you, but we feel bad that we need to get our technology and good ideas from you backwards people. In fact, in Moscow, there was a special area where they would only let foreigners go, and I think it was even called the German district. And they were guarded and were unable to sort of pollute the rest of the city with their ideas. So, why am I bringing all this up? Well, like I said, that's a really good question. In order to westernize, unfortunately, or to modernize, rather, with the way things are, you can see I have modernization of 0. Why? Well, I've got green lines and blue lines, or green lines and red lines, and you can see all that stuff below. And I can't move my mouse, or else you'll see what's killing me is use your eyes, see my base -0.3, and scan down, you got that base legalized serfdom -0.5. Everything else is like -0.0, 0.0, which is easily counteracted by other things that I'm doing. So, what's going on here is I cannot modernize while I have legalized serfdom, which I definitely do. Now, this event that's popped up has occurred because I have serfdom. I did research on it, and that is absolutely true. And so let's see if we can go ahead and crush these peasants that are rising up. I would send these guys, but it's nothing but cannons. So this is a difficult... conundrum for me, because I want to westernize, modernize, but it is not historically accurate for Russia to release peasants from serfdom. That didn't happen for a long, long, long time, way outside of the EU timeframe. So I don't know what I'm going to do about this, except, well, what I am going to do is get on in there and crush these filthy peasants. Just make sure the guns aren't going to go in before... they're not. Okay. So let's go in there and crush them. Okay. And there you go. Now, when this happens, there is, I've read, another event that occurs that will deal with the peasants where we have the option to release them or keep them served, which I'm going to do. That's interesting. I've been wondering when the Ottomans were going to go get the Mamluks for a long time. About time they did it. Anyway, completely unrelated to Russia. So hopefully that event's going to pop up here pretty quickly. And I'm going to try to fast forward to that and hope that it comes up. Fast forwarded to the event that I was talking about. I didn't really see this in much of my reading. But this here, the economy of Russia depends heavily on the serfdom. This is true. I think that this whole thing was supposed to come during Catherine the Great's reign. But this premise of tightening the chains of the masses, Catherine wanted to liberate the serfs, but just couldn't. The boyars were like, we need them to, work the land. So we're going to do this. What's legalized serfdom will be revoked, and total serfdom will get. And unfortunately, you can see there, I can't move my mouse, but you can see there where it says monthly modernization -1. So I'm never going to modernize, which, I think is like accurate from a conceptual standpoint, but it's not accurate from a historical standpoint. Under Peter the Great, Russia began not treating the West like it was so backwards and savage. They began dressing differently. They organized their military more efficiently and really did modernize. So unfortunately, I'm probably going to miss out on the entire modernization mechanic, which is fine because I really have no idea what it is anyway. This is the first time I've played EU4 with it. I wish that they would have changed this total serfdom to not have that nasty monthly modernization. I mean, I don't know. I suppose I can try to really crank modernization like by importing it with modern ideas and everything. Anyway, we're going to do what's historically accurate, but gameplay-wise sucks. Where did all these peasants rise up at? Turkestan or whatever it is. Okay, halfway across the country, which is a big country. And I'm conquering the remainder of Siberia here. We're going to do a Siberia bit in a little bit. I really do want to make sure that Peter is around for that. So that's a bit of a bummer from a modernization standpoint. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll figure something out. We're going to take a little bit of a break and talk about Siberia in more depth. So I definitely have West Siberia, East Siberia. I've colonized all the way out to the Pacific. That really is happening a bit sooner than it should be, historically speaking. And I did finish the push into Eastern Siberia, which is also happening too soon. Now, one of the things that I had to do was I kind of rewound back from Peter the Great because I really want to play with him a lot. We're going to make nearly the remainder of this video about him and take advantage of him. But what I had at the time was like a 40-year-old ruler with a 30-year-old Peter the Great as an heir. So I've just kind of sidelined that. And now my heir does not qualify me because his this amount here punches over 4 to get Peter. So when this current ruler, Mikhail, dies, we'll call this guy Alexei Mikhailovich and hope that his heir qualifies him for Peter the Great. But we're not talking about Peter the Great right now. We're talking about Siberia. So I'm going to complete this push into Eastern Siberia, which, as you see here, what gives me a shipyard in Okhotsk, which is, I think, right here. Yep. And a few other things that are interesting. Quest beyond the Pacific, which will give me colonists, even though I don't have those ideas. and allow me to recruit explorers and conquistadors. And do we get somebody right away? Yeah, we got the explorer. See it? Explorer Vitus Bering, who the Bering Straits are named after. So we'll go ahead and do that. Because this is kind of fun. I can now explore. So I can't remember how many ships you have to do this. But I will give it a shot. I think I need like 3 ships. So we're going to get those ships built up here. And I think they need to be lights. Okay. And let's do some exploring. It is definitely 3 ships or more needed to do exploration. I have done this before. Just forget. Don't do it all that often. Your fleet must be in port. Okay, yeah, duh. So we will explore. What are we going to do? Explore. Alright, I'm not sure which one it was, but we opened up Northeast Pacific. So let's see. Yay, we're headed in the right direction. So these are this is what's known as the Bering Straits, right? Named after this guy, Vitus Bering. So there we go. We have discovered Alaska. Well, probably not technically until we do the coast. But we are going to get some colonies going on here, which is absolutely true. If you don't know, Russia did own most of Alaska until it was sold to America at a certain point. Influential trading company. Ooh, I like trade efficiency. That sounds good. Okay, let's pause it here and talk about a couple more things. So Europe at this point was going absolutely bonkers crazy for furs. I think we've talked about that already. And so you can see fur, right? Like that Russia had massive trade in fur going west. We can show it here, up through Siberia. Okay, and look at this massive outflow all the way through. And then I have practically 100% in here, all flowing through. So this is where my wealth comes from, my trade wealth comes from. And then a huge portion of it then goes all the way around to make England richer in the English Channel, which is probably pretty historically accurate. And so what I'm really hoping to do with this is when we land on Alaska, we should be able to get 3 trade companies, bump my land force limit to 200, and then I don't think I'm going to be able to get absolutism that high, but I could probably get these multiple universities and trigger a golden age for the age of Peter the Great. Now, I'm doing that a little bit in advance. See, this is happening. I need to get up in there. Otherwise, Spain, as always, going to come pushing in there like they do, or Aragon. So I need to get up in there and get my colonies set up in Alaska. Toot sweet. Finally, Peter the Great comes back to me. I've had him as an heir for a little while. Previously, I was upset because I got him as an heir underneath a very young ruler, which meant I wouldn't get him as the ruler for a long time. In fact, the previous ruler who died at age 72, which is historically unheard of back in these times. So when Peter becomes the ruler, we immediately get this sweeping reforms of Peter, and I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit and hold off on accepting it because I need to be very careful with it. So Peter was very interested in bringing Western values, Western technology, Western culture to Russia, and Russia considered that to be taboo. I think I said that, but we'll reiterate that a little bit, that their religion really looked at the rest of the world as being barbarians, savages, heretics, devil worshippers. They equated Western Europe with witchcraft and all kinds of stuff. So it's like, what do we want from them? But Peter, after seeing military defeats to better organized and better trained troops, wanted that for himself. So he went on what was called the Grand Embassy, where he visited many other countries to learn about how they make ships and how they... And in fact, he himself, being so interested in these things, practiced them himself. He apprenticed underneath a carpenter to learn how to build ships like a carpenter would. He learned dentistry. So he was a really interesting dude. He was 6'8" tall, massive, ginormous, angry guy who deserved his epithet Peter the Great for many, many reasons, and we're going to continue talking about some of those things. So what we're going to be doing mostly with Peter is known as the Great Northern War, and I will get into that in a minute. But first of all, let's take a look at this, because you've already heard me whine about modernization. And so I really want to be able to declare an empire. And I'm thinking that if I finish these missions, that I will be able to do that. Now, because my modernization, I've already brought this up, and this is really a gaming mechanic that for Russia at least, I don't like, that the level of serfdom that Russia has currently, which is historically accurate for the time, serfdom was not repealed until Victoria 3 times, gives you an impossible to surmount modernization. But we see from this mission here, from this event, see it there at the bottom, gain 50 modernization. So that's going to give me 50 modernization right away. But the problem is, I'm going to bleed that modernization in 1 month. So it'll immediately take me down by 1, and I won't be able to sit at modernization of at least 50. But the theory would go, and so we need to get that time going down there, that I'll hit 50 and be able to complete the mission as long as I pause it right away. So are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And it stayed paused. Okay, that's good news. And so the mission is complete. Also good news. Now, Peter modernizing the state was an ongoing thing. It's not like, yay, it's modernized. Okay, but I really would like to complete this final mission because I'm obsessed with missions. Going to be really sad if they're not in EU5, which I don't think they are. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, so we're going to do modernize the state. Okay, any owned. And I don't know what this... Complete the modernization of Russia and enact either Russian Empire or Great Russian Federation. Okay, so there you go. And my problem with this is I can't do it. So, because I don't have 90 modernization. And this is very, very unfortunate. So I may just cheat it in, because I really want to see that happen. And once Peter won the Great Northern War, which we're now going to fight, and I'll go through some of that, he was declared the Emperor of Russia. And so I'd really, 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 really like that to happen. But we'll figure it out. Two of the largest military conflicts that Peter entered into were conflicts with the Ottomans around the Crimean area here. The Ottomans are huge, not just geographically speaking in the game, but I think they're the -- power. Yeah, they're kind of massive. And militarily, they're just frightening. I mean, they're at 477. I'm at 200, so they're well more than 2 times what I am. I don't know what I'm gonna do, to be honest, because they're gonna come get me. Let's see what claims they have here. Thought they had a claim on me. Anyway, during this time period, historically speaking, the Great Holy League was formed with a lot of the Christian nations to resist the Ottomans. Unfortunately, AI is just kind of stupid, and I've done the best that I can. I'm allied, I think, yes, with Austria to try and protect them. But that's not really the focus of this. The second conflict that Peter had it came to be known as the Great Northern War. And so we're going to get everybody kind of ready to go for this. And that is, it was against Poland, which would have been the Commonwealth of Lithuania, Poland, and Sweden. Sweden would have occupied these territories. I have them somewhat prematurely here. And they cut Peter and all of Russia off from the Baltic Sea entirely. So Peter raised a navy, which I've gotten started with decently. I'm not really sure remembering what my naval force limit is. Oh, quite a bit more than I have. Okay, that's good to know. Sailors is... I'm restrained by sailors. So I'm going to be recruiting ships the entire time for that. Who's my ally? Can I see this? Not ally, I meant rival. Okay, I'm rivaling Poland, and I just wonder, because if I check the ledger to see what kind of navy they have, how well am I doing against them? Alright, well that's quality, so that's good. But in terms of Poland, okay. So I am doing okay. I could use a few more galleys, but I beat them on the heavy ships. So I'm going to just keep pumping those galleys. Gosh, the Ottomans just insane on, like, everything. I really don't know how to turn it around at this point. So it's just a little scary. Anyway, I hope maybe I'll worry about that another time. Maybe not. It's entirely possible that when I declare the Great Northern War, that the Ottomans are just going to pile on me at that point. In fact, that's probably likely, unfortunately. That is not historically accurate, but we'll do what we need to do. So anyway, the goal of the Great Northern War for Peter was to clear out this entire area, get his foothold on the Baltic, including here. Now, I'm going to chase this down as far as the mission takes me and take basically all of this Livonia, Estonia area. And following that, I think I mentioned Peter was declared the Emperor of all Russia. So we're going to try and figure out how to do that as well. So somewhere in this war, I also need to make sure that according to the Emperor title, because I am going to cheat in the modernization. That's just, the game mechanics are against me. It's just not something I'm willing to tolerate. That I also will need to humiliate one of my rivals. And so because I'm going to war with Poland, and they're a rival, they're the ones I'm going to humiliate. Now, when I do go to war with Poland, unfortunately, that's going to be joined by France, which sucks. Now, I can call allies Sweden and Austria. I'm going to not call... I'm surprised Great Britain won't join. Oh, they're close. And maybe I should... Oh, because they were in war. Well, maybe they'll come out of war soon. Are they in war now? Or did they just recently come out of it? Yeah. And they all are fighting in the colonies, which is, like, yeah, okay. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I will call Sweden in right away, but I'm going to wait to call Austria in, because otherwise what will happen is France will just crush Austria and I'll lose them right away. And I can't really get to them without military access through, these various lands. Maybe Bohemia would give it to me. But also the forts in Poland, Lithuania would really... maybe not as bad as I thought. Oh no, fort level 6. So anyway, what I'll do is have Sweden come in right away, wage war on this entire large Western front. Then if France does come in, I may call Austria in behind them. So I'm going to get my troops in place here and rock and roll. Now this province here is a very interesting one because the Great Northern War was primarily fought with Sweden. So the fact that Sweden's my ally is not historically accurate at all. In fact, it's the opposite. But Sweden, they did not invade this way. They came all the way around through a weakened Poland and tried to flank Russia. And a great battle was fought at Poltava where Peter the Great won. And really, it was kind of the beginning of the end for Sweden, where it was a very debilitating, demoralizing loss for them. And Peter was able to get exactly what he wanted. So it would be fun if I do end up fighting them here. If I do, I'll show you that just to squeal about it. But otherwise, we are going to get this party started. I'm going to move my men a little bit further into place before we declare war. And then we're going to get it on. Oh, I came so close to getting a big battle at Poltava, but it's not happening. All their wimpy little troops are headed out here to go snipe off little provinces and stuff, which is just a waste of time, to be honest with you. And everybody else is moving up north behind their forts. So I think I'm going to have to just try and squeeze in on forts. They're probably like, oh, let's go get Britain, because for whatever reason they've got 7k troops. They're dead. I did have a decent-sized battle right here at Rilsk, so maybe we'll call that the Battle of Poltava. But yeah, so I'm just going to kind of try and squeeze them and just start taking forts down. So I've got guys moving out. I was hoping to kind of cut them off here at Kiev, but they're just going to push too quick. And, I mean, already right here, I'm inside zone of control, so I couldn't do anything. So they're hidden behind their forts pretty well. So let's change tactics here. Who's my best sieger? Zero, not you. One. Okay. This guy's kind of a beast. Yeah, he's I think my main general. So let's go ahead and pull him here. I have cannons as separate units. I don't know if that's smart or not. I still really barely know how to play this game. And so where's my other regiment of cannons? I'll have them ready to go. Because I guess if I go in and take this fort, these guys could come up here. But I kind of doubt it. They're just probably going to try and swoop around. Let's go ahead and just turn the time back on and see if I'm right. So, yeah, see there. Okay, so here's somebody looking for... He's looking to party. That's kind of cool. Can I get to him in time? This is my main general. And I need to keep him alive. What's he's bringing in cannons too, so that sucks. I should have got my cannons in there a lot faster. Alright, let's just zerg it. You never know. Yeah, see, they saw that big zerg coming in and were like, yeah, no, and they just took off. So, okay, fine. But what I don't want to do is do what the AI does and basically just sit with massive death stacks, just dying of attrition. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring one unit of cannons in. You can back out. These other cannons will just sit there. Alright, let's just see what's happening, what I've got done here. Okay, so who's coming in now? Someone's coming in. Who is going the Barbaroskas or whatever it is? Yeah. You. Alright, what are you? Just a single army. But he has a lot of cannons. So... okay. But you know what? I'm not gonna be fooled by that nonsense again. Let's see. Yeah, see, he just backed off. Like, nope, not gonna do it. Okay, whatever. Alright, so we'll get you a little bit closer. And this is just kind of the dance. Look, see, I knew it. I told you they were going to go straight for dumb Britain, who's out there trying to wage war by themselves. And I'm not going to, I don't think I even can cross all of Poland to go help them out. Sorry, don't be stupid. Sort of lesson 1. All right. You can die. That's cool. And what are you? Cannons? Yeah. Might as well. And let's get some forces a little closer just in case. And we'll just push this siege a little harder. Because what I really need is the flexibility to operate with flexibility inside these zones of control. And do not need stacks of units attritioning away on top of each other. Oh boy, I killed some cannons. So, I'll just take these things here. I'm not really interested in you. Alright, so let's continue the war. I'm bummed because what I just discovered is this looks like the color of Poland, but it's Denmark. So that means I have to declare an almost completely unrelated war on Denmark, which sucks. And I'm also realizing that this guy is gonna try and take back what is in fact my main war target, and he is unfortunately close to doing that. Okay, anyway, I'll fight on my own. Thanks for watching. Ooh, I'm excited. I might get an actual battle in Poltava, which is like, oh yay, woohoo! So this amount of whaling on them is pretty much what happened historically. I love historical battles! Oh my gosh, so awesome. So that was super cool. Thanks for watching. Okay, with the Great Northern War winding down, I had to do a little bit of cheating, unfortunately. I had to hack the save game to give me a modernization of 90. And it worked. I tried doing console commands and everything like that and got really frustrated. The reason why I did this is because when Peter won the Great Northern War, as I think I've already said this, that Russia declared him emperor. And I would really like to see that done. And I needed that modernization of at least 90. Now, something else that's really kind of curious and frustrating here is that the moment I humiliate Poland and in my peace deal, so I'm going to take all these territories, which I can do. Again, except this one. I still have to go to battle with Denmark over this one, which is not that big of a deal. And so when I do this and do humiliation, which will give me the criteria to proclaim emperor, the problem is if I let the time tick even a single day, it will immediately disqualify Poland as being my rival. And then that criteria will then come off. And it's like, and you can even see the way that it says, any rival country has been humiliated by, right? What it really should say is any current rival country has been humiliated by. And the moment Poland stops being your rival, you lose this criteria again, which is extremely depressing. And so we're going to take advantage of this right now and say, hail to the king, baby, or rather the emperor, Peter the Great. And so I'm extremely excited about this. This is going to bring us really close to the end of our video, I will probably end the video by after my war with Denmark, and then we're going to move our title, or excuse me, our capital, and create the city of St. Petersburg, and end this video with the mighty victories of Peter the Great. So just one more step. Okay, I couldn't let this go because I forgot about this. We did meet all the criteria for great imperial ambitions. A Western approach, we even changed to Western. Again, this was what Peter the Great tried to do and did for the most part. Now, the reason why I'm hesitating is because when he died, a lot of people tried to undo that work. There's a lot of go back to the old ways. Oh, this was too much too soon. But in his honor, I guess we'll just say, let's go ahead and complete this mission. The modernization advances. Technology change to... What does this do? Oh, and we get the Imperial Russian missions as well. I've never seen those before. And they're below this. You can see I can scroll down. And perhaps a great deal of these will happen in the next video. The next and final video. The next and final Europa Universalis 4 video. You know what? I'll talk about that at the end of this video. No. Yeah. Let's go. All right. Let's beat Denmark, take our last territory in the north, and be done. And here we are. Denmark defeated all of Estonia, Livonia, mine. Mission completed. Window on the west. So this was Peter's goal, was to have access to the Baltic here, right, for trade. And one of the things that we're going to do, and we're going to end this video with it, is he did move the capital from Moscow to this area, renaming it in all humble and not narcissistic way, St. Petersburg. So we will make our capital, boom, St. Petersburg, and here we are. So that's pretty cool, huh? That brings us to the end of this video, video number 4. And the reason why I was hemming and hawing a little while ago is because, like I hinted and even directly said, with Europa Universalis 5 released a couple of days ago from the making of this video, I own it already, I will be making my next EU series, playing EU5. I won't be playing EU4 anymore. And so that means you get a little hint of what we're going to be playing as for the next series. Still have a ways to go with Russia. Looking forward to it. Got to finish EU4 all the way through Vic 3, the Bolshevik Revolution, and then, of course, World War II. But this is what we're going to do as our next country, Nihon, Japan. And so we'll be playing through that, not only with brand new, newly released Crusader Kings All Under Heaven content, which I'm excited about, but also EU5. So we have one more EU4 video to go, forever, and then we say goodbye to this wonderful game. We'll see you next time.